Hi, I'm Daniela, and this is Jocelyn. Thanks for coming to our channel.
Today we're going to fill you in on where we've been and the big changes to our conception journey.
You may have noticed that we haven't posted in a while, and we feel it's really important for us to just be open with you about where we've been. We hope that by sharing our story, it will help you find strength in any difficult times that you may be going through.
For those of you who may be new to our channel, check out the link above to learn more about us.
For those of you who have been wondering where we've been, this video is for you.
So let's get right to it.
Over the summer, we had come to realize that the pandemic was taking a bit more of a financial and emotional toll on us than we had realized.
Not to give too much backstory, but when the pandemic hit, I was unable to go back to work right away, and I ultimately took a job I wasn't really happy with just to support my family. Then, months into that job, Daniela left what she thought was her dream job, so I became the sole earner. And in that role, I found myself really emotionally struggling.
The stress of trying to conceive after leaving my job became really a lot for the both of us, especially month after month when we were just getting negative pregnancy test after negative test.
Yeah, it felt really defeating.
Month after month.
For me, everything sort of felt like a house of cards. I thought I was able to get it back all together again, but it just came tumbling down and I couldn't get myself back up.
Yeah, for me, things all happened pretty quickly. Like, I thought that we were getting to a good place.
Yeah.
I thought that we were getting to a good place, and then all of a sudden, something changed. And I could tell something was going on with Jocelyn emotionally, so I would just try to subtly check in with her, see how she was doing. She always let me know that she was fine, and I just kept pressing and asking her if things were okay, and eventually that became pretty frustrating for her.
Yeah, you're right. When I'm in an emotional spiral, I sometimes lose sight of what's going on and I can be really hurtful. I'm sorry for that. I think when it came down to it, I recognize now that I was putting way too much pressure on myself. I think the harder it got for us, the harder I was on myself without even realizing it. I was putting too much pressure on myself to be the best mother, the best wife, the best partner, because I was overcompensating for the one thing I couldn't be, which was father. And I never really realized that when I was in it until it presented itself in the form of manic episodes.
This was for sure one of the scariest things either one of us have faced in quite a long time.
For sure.
I know that you take being the protector and provider of our family really seriously, and that's something you put a lot of pressure on yourself to maintain, which is also something that I admire about you. But sometimes I think putting so much pressure on yourself can become really overwhelming.
Mental health is something we can sometimes sweep under the rug. I know I'm guilty of doing it.
Yeah.
And this was definitely one of those instances where I didn't realize I swept it under the rug until I was in it. So together we decided to take a step back, reprioritize, and slow down to focus on what we really needed as far as our mental well-being went.
Balance is something that we find extremely important. In addition to working with our therapists, we've learned new ways to communicate with one another, and we've learned new ways on checking in to make sure that we're both staying happy and healthy.
Being vulnerable and opening up is definitely not something that comes second nature to me. Even taking the courage to create this video definitely was a huge step for me. In doing that big scary thing, I feel like I was able to feel less lonely and make a deeper connection with the person I care about most.
Yeah, you're not alone. A lot of people have trouble opening up and being vulnerable. It's pretty natural for people, especially people who take on the caretaker role, to have a difficult time asking for help and opening up. If anything, I think this showed us how strong our marriage can be and how far we're willing to go for one another in times of need.
And we spent what felt like forever going over a new game plan and trying to figure out what to do, not just for our next move, but for our next 3 moves, 4 moves, so that we felt like we had a sense of direction and we knew what we wanted to do, where we wanted to go, and how we wanted to get there, basically.
From these many conversations, we could tell a lot of things were changing. Some things we talked about would be temporary, and some things we talked would really require some dedication to the long game.
So ultimately, we chose to make an out-of-state move, a huge career shift for Daniela,
Jocelyn went to grad school.
and a new middle school for Isabella. These huge decisions also led to the decision to hold off on conception until we got situated in our new surroundings.
With an out-of-state move, our donor is now further away than he ever was before, and he was pretty far to begin with. So, in light of the events and the recent move, we decided it would probably be best to get settled in and take some time before we added new things into the mix.
The decision to hold off on conception was really gut-wrenching, and for me, it felt like I was compromising on our dreams a little bit. But when you weighed out all the options, it really made sense for us. It was the best thing we could do while also still focusing on our mental health and staying strong and connected as a family.
This gave us the time we needed to focus on our family and get things back on track.
So that's what we've been doing.
So that's where we've been.
We took the time we needed to focus on ourselves as individuals, as well as focusing on continuing to make a strong family unit.
Yeah.
Sometimes that looked like putting extra hours in at work to establish our career, and other times that looked like snuggling up on the couch to watch a movie premiere. As guilty as I felt at sometimes for doing that, it did feel good to stay present and remember what's important.
Yeah. That being said, we did have this conversation all the time. Like, when are we going to get back into YouTube? We need to keep posting. We need to stay up on our channel. We didn't forget about you guys. We just had to go back and remember why we started this channel in the first place. And that's for our family and for families like ours, to help them along with their journey. So we knew that we needed to be in a good place before we could join you guys.
That's when I realized whenever we did get back into YouTube, that's how we'd start. We'd lead with honesty and just open up about what's really been going on. I want to say thank you to our first 200 subscribers. We see you, we hear you, and we thank you for your support. I also want to give a huge heartfelt thank you for sticking with our journey through the highs and the lows. It's really easy to post when you're super happy and when things are going really well. And it's a lot harder to post when you're not feeling great about yourself or the situation you're in.
And we know that the journey to growing a family and conception can be quite emotional and a struggle for a lot of people. And we faced it, and we know you're facing it. And even if you have an easy journey, it's always good to have a support system.
Yeah, it feels great just knowing that there are others out there who are just feeling an ounce of what you might be feeling, because you're not alone and maybe there's hope. Also, there have been some interesting progressions made to our conception plan. So make sure you check out our next video that's going to detail
all of those changes.
All of those changes and more. To learn more about our backstory and our insemination process up until this point, check out the link above.
As always, we welcome your feedback and look forward to hearing more from you about your conception stories. Don't forget to turn on the notifications so you can see our upcoming videos.
And if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe.
See you
See you
soon.
soon.